Greetings, interwebs. 'Tis I, Sebastian Piccioni, and this is F3G2 coming at you live from Gotham City.
Yay!
Or just the back of Famous Faces and Funnies again. We're in a
Gotham
different
City.
part of the back. It's crazy. We move around, keep things. The other slide was busy, so we had to move over. And you are a proud part of the Gonna Geek Network. Got a big old stack. Probably gonna get wordier than I want to, but my throat is killing me. So I'm gonna try and keep these things to a minimum, and you'll just have to trust me. If I tell you it's good, it's freaking good. Why you gotta doubt me? Why? I got credentials.
You're still you.
They're mostly in fine arts and English lit, but we can pretend they're specifically comic book, critique credentials. If there was such a thing as a school that offered comic book critiquing classes, they'll really never trust anyone with a degree from a school that offers comic book critiquing classes, because that school's got to be a joke.
You just gave the internet ideas.
I did.
Stop doing that.
That's it. So all right, let's start with X Factor. It's a girl's day out. The girls being a very confused Danger, Polaris, and her half-sister, the Scarlet Witch. Now, it's just, there aren't any words to describe. No, there are two words to describe how awesome this is. Peter David. Those are the only words. Only Peter David could come up with the idea that Danger is confused from what she perceives as a rejection from a rather embarrassed warlock when she offered, so you want to go out on a date, you want to kiss, touch, hold hands, you want to have sex, and warlock got embarrassed because she's kind of emotionless and warlock is highly sensitive. So confused as to why she was rejected, she goes out and asks Polaris, "You want to have sex?" Polaris is like, with the coffee in the morning, goes, "What? You're not human." And she's like, "I can synthesize the parts. What's the problem?" And then the Scarlet Witch shows up looking for sister time with Polaris. They decide to go out. Danger invites herself along, even recommending, there's a place I wanted to go to learn about humans. There's a Ren Fair. Because yes, only Peter David could write about, buy, or possibly try, if you want to count machines, try curious Danger spending a girl's day with Scarlet Witch and Polaris at a Ren Fair. Trouble ensues. They get involved. Wanda gets drunk. And there may be some revelations.
Damn, I have to read that issue now.
Some revelations Polaris wasn't ready for as to her mutual sibling with Wanda. Multiversity, Society of Superheroes, Golden Age superhero-y goodness, almost kind of Golden Age, we'll go with pseudo-pulp-esque style, but even better, it's really, really good, but it's Chris Sprouse artwork, which means it's really, really freaking beautiful, and you got Vandal Savage, and the Immortal Man. You've got a very Golden Age looking Abin Sur, who looks more demon-esque than alien. You've got a young Adam, as in the Golden Age Adam, who, interestingly enough, his mask makes him, his mask symbol has the Adam's blue face covering mask, but it's got the Dr. Manhattan symbol on the forehead. So there's a little mission with our Martian, and it's really, really, really good and just beautiful. It's so beautiful. Abin Sur versus Parallax, and the Parallax that belongs to, I think it's Count Sinestro or Baron Sinestro of the Golden Age. It's beautiful, beautiful stuff. Batman Eternal, so good. This is like 90% spoiler, and there's a little more complexity to the spoiler cluemaster father-daughter relationship than I mean, he's clearly doing all the wrong things, but there may be some deeper motivation for him there. But she outdoes him almost too well, and this is so good. I'm loving this. Future's End, number 20. I'm liking it. The last 3 issues were the best. This one, almost as good as the last 3. Still better than most of the prior 16, but not as good as the others. I don't know. This cover was speculated by the internet that this was very Joker-esque. This is a Joker cover. But it appears to be really more of a old Bruce, 35 years in the future cover. But there may be a Joker mouth scene in here. I don't know. Plus, we also find out that 35 year from now, Mr. Terrific is not as big of a douche as 5 year from now, Mr. Terrific, and is really more in the thrall. He's more a prisoner to Brother Eye than
co-conspirator.
Yeah. Also, it looks like Red Robin may be coming out of the retirement. And all in all, good, but still not great. Not as good as the last 3 issues, and but better than the others. So it's still an improvement from original. All right, Future's End Teen Titans was a lot of fun. It's an all. They are not good at quiet. It's an all Earth 2 team on not Earth 2 on regular DC Earth, but it's an all Earth 2 team. You've got a very Lagoon Boy looking Tempest from Earth 2. You've got the Clarion, the Witch Boy of Earth 2, Animal Girl of Earth 2, the female Kid Flash of Earth 2, and the only Our Earth member is the possible Damien clone known as the Heretic. And all in all, it's a really good Teen Titans story, just with this whole new team. Doesn't necessarily give us a whole lot of insight, though it does amalgam the robot chick from the current storyline of Teen Titans is in here and seems to be taking credit for having killed, or at least been a part of killing the Future's End, the original Teen Titans. These two go back to back. So this is Future's End Wonder Woman and Future's End Superman Wonder Woman. This entire issue is a Wonder Woman hallucination. Good hallucination. It's Charles Soule. Can't be bad. But it leads directly into Superman coming to get her. She thinks she's been fighting in Tartarus. It's all a hallucination brought on by Nemesis. Since Superman is retired, translation has pushed out in the 5 years later story. The Amazons do a little time travel of their own to bring a Superman back from somewhere between now and the 5 years. So somewhere in the middle, they bring him to his future. I think he's from like a year or two before all of this, and so he doesn't have the full story, but he knows a little more than some of them, and blah blah blah, and he kind of helps out. And there's a great line where they're talking about the retired Superman. He goes, I may have to stop and talk to him about that. I may have a word with him about that. And Wonder Woman shifts from Goddess of War to Goddess of Peace. Interesting. Justice League Future's End picks up where Justice League United Future's End left off. Everybody on Mars, the Mars prison colony, trying to save Martian Manhunter, get the prisoners back, and stop Grodd and Captain Atom. Which they do, thanks to Martian Manhunter using his famous it worked on Despero trick on Captain Atom. And there's all some interesting stuff. We do get Starfire, not Starfire, Wildstar from the Legion to he comes and teams up with it. We already have Dawn
Star.
Star. So there you go. Yeah. So that's pretty cool. Batman, Superman. This lets us know that in the fight somewhere during the war with Earth 2, Batman did something that makes nobody trust him. And Superman, and Batman break up. Superman no. And this is part of why Superman gave up on life. What Batman did, Batman is apparently responsible for mass destruction and possibly death in trying to stop the war.
That's about right.
Krypto has gone feral and joined with wolves in the that now seem to run around, Arctic wolves that run around the
Oh, lovely.
what do you call it, the fortress. Steel has no time of day for Batman, even though you'd think you could set aside a difference of two, it means you have to kick the ass of what do you call it, of Superman level villains that are running around like Metallo when there's no Superman to stop.
But apparently not.
Yeah. Supergirl. Possibly Tony Bedard's last issue on Supergirl. She's in the future hanging with her dad, though she doesn't know it's her dad because he's the cyborg Superman. She thinks he's Kal, and he's kind of brainwashed her and transformed her into part cyborg. But what's really cooler than any of this is somewhere between now and the 5 years later future, apparently Supergirl teams up with what are they called? They're not the Wave Riders, the Wanderers. The Wanderers, which include the New 52 Captain Comet and Supergirl. They kind of a couple, and it's her memory of that snaps her out of it. So that's pretty cool. I would love to see. I don't know if we're gonna, because Johnny Bedard's not writing this, but I would love to see some Supergirl featuring Captain Comet, because I love Captain Comet.
It's just fun to say.
Red Hood and the Outlaws, Future's End, was written by Scott Lobdell.
Enough said.
Batman and Robin. This one gets interesting because in an interview with Newsarama, writer Ray Fawkes says they asked him outright, does this tie in and possibly offer any spoilers as to the interrupted by this event Robin Rises storyline? And he goes, well, yeah. And as Batman chasing more of those potential Damian clones dressed as Heretic, or in that Heretic garb, but the whole time he won't let Robin come and help him. What? Who's Robin? Well, it's interesting you should say that. It's Duke Thomas. Who's Duke Thomas, you ask?
The hell?
That was that very helpful young African-American kid from the Zero Year. Apparently, that he's been motivated. When you work with Batman when you're a kid, that kind of shit leaves an impression. So you grow up going, hey, this Batman, he works with kids a lot too. I wonder if there will be a job opening. And at the rate that Batman goes through Robins, especially in the condensed rate of New 52 time period, where, they die all the damn time. Even the one that's not dead, everybody thinks is dead. There's Tim Drake, who in Future's End, everybody thinks is dead. There's Dick Grayson, that currently everybody thinks is dead. There's Jason Todd, who was dead. And there's, and there's Damian, who is dead.
Currently.
So, yeah, at least for now. So, lots of death. So, this was really, really good. And the new Robin, unlike the other Robins, he didn't come to him because Batman found him and said, oh, I have similar pain. I will mold you to be me. And then they take it their own way. But this is someone who actually sought him out and said, look, can I do this? Which oddly is actually
kind of Tim's
story, because Tim didn't have tragedy until after he teamed up with Batman, because hanging out with Bruce will get your parents shot. It's just a thing that happens.
No job security as Robin.
None whatsoever. Clone number 20. So good. Oh my God. This needs to be a show.
Weren't they developing it into a show?
I don't know, but it should. Don't touch it, sci-fi. You suck.
They do shows good.
No, they don't.
Yes, they do.
No, they don't.
We're not having this argument now.
It's true, because it's not an argument. You're wrong.
I'm right.
Sci-fi shows suck.
No, they don't.
So, yeah, this needs to be a show. It's just so damn good. And really, you have to spend a bit on special effects, but your casting budget is cheap. You hire 2 people. This guy, because everybody's him, and the Asian chick, it's the other clone, because everybody's her. And oh my God, Asian chick clone island sounds like a great place to go, where they've got an island where there's just this, they just clone this ridiculously hot Asian chick. Right? Sounds like the island that every red-blooded American man is trained to look for. You know, what's off the coast of Japan? Well, we got Monster Island. That sounds cool, but we've got Hot Clone Chick Island. Mm-hmm. And you swim off. You hear the call like you're Mothra, and they're all little tiny. But it's not quite the paradise they think it is. It's more like parts the Clonus horror, and they're all like looking out the window, going, "What?" But more importantly is I forget his name, the erstwhile banished tattooed clone who was going all terrorista to try and stop one of the crazy nut clone hunting groups, until he realized the bomb that he set. A woman walked in with the kidnapped baby of Luke and Amelia. So he's like, "Oh fuck!" So he saves the baby, and then there's a reunion of sorts. Meanwhile, oh, it's so good. Just read this. Read Clone. Read Clone. Oh, and your job, Mr. Sexy Dave Cameraman, is to remind me that a month from now, when we're doing the roundtable, and Rick asks, "Are there any other indies that you want to
clone?"
And I can't think of shit because I can never remember anything. We have to remember that I want to talk about Clone.
We all remember the new stuff as of late.
I read so many, I can only remember the last things that that I read. Miles Morales, Ultimate Spider-Man. Clearly not helping my throat.
No.
A team up with the potential Peter Parker. Standoff against the cops. Some help from Detective Maria Hill. Maria. Right, J. Jonah Jameson versus Norman Osborn. In an interview to the death. Yeah.
Fun.
It's crazy. This is so good. Yeah, I know that people are like, what? If that's really Peter, then they're, because Ultimate said dead is dead and he can't come back. You know what? The theme with New Ultimate Universe is the original, is the same thing as the old. Anything you think, no, we can do whatever we want. And it's just such a great, it's just like, just get in, strap on and go, "Okay, Mr. Bendis, I trust you. Let's go." What?
Surprise! We've introduced clones.
What the fuck is happening? So that's what's going on. Superior Spider-Man, Edge of Spider-Verse. All right, we get a peek, more than a peek, if you will, into into the life of Karn and his parent spider hunting siblings. We get his tragic origin by Christos Gage as a backup story, and we get more of the spider army as led by Superior Spidey versus him, and find out this is going to be difficult. But most of the Spideys have that kind of Peter Parker ethic. However, Doc Ock, Superior Spidey, no such holdbacks.
Nope.
The Spidey known as Spider-Man Assassin has no such problems. And
I would think not with a name like that.
there's a Spider-Woman that I forget her. There's Assassin Spider-Man. There's Peter Parker of Earth 8351. Superior Spider-Man from our Earth, and Spider-Girl Ashley Barton, possibly related to Clint, I don't know, of Earth 807128. So they don't have quite the scruples of we'll do what must be done. We're spiders. They killed. What's up? There's a great moment where one of the Spider-Men asks the Spider-Man assassin, "Why do your web shooters shoot bullets?" And he goes, "Better question. Why don't yours?" It's like, Nova. Problems at school, but kicking ass in space. Daddy is already on the loose, and Nova is on the hunt for his daddy. Really, really good. It's Jerry Dugan writing this, even though I'm not thrilled with his Hulk. He's great on this. And David Boldion on art. Pretty good.
Art or writing? Not thrilled with Hulk, art or writing?
Art's fine. Writing is meh. Uncanny X-Men. Mostly, Cyclops has a hissy fit.
Another one.
Yeah, Cyclops has a hissy fit, and then Iceman is filled with righteous indignation. So it's original X-douches, is mostly what it is.
Does he even know how to say
the
that?
kids, the kids are confused, and I say kids, they're not all kids, but the new breed of Uncanny X-Men, because one of them wants to point out the obvious. Why are they in their danger room training to fight? They're fighting holograms of the Avengers. He's like, why are we fighting the Avengers? The Avengers are good guys, so by definition, what does that make us if we're training to fight the Avengers? And they're like, well, blah, 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 mutant. And he's like, I'm not buying it.
We're just preparing for...
Should have reviewed this with the other one, but here's Edge of Spider-Verse, Gwen Stacy, Spider-Woman. I want a book of this. She is awesome. She is awesome. The costume is gorgeous. The story is brilliant. She's responsible for the death of Peter Parker. How? He wanted to be special like her, and he tried to create his own spider serum, and it kills him. So she is now hunted down for the murder of Peter Parker by, of course, on the press level, J. Jonah Jameson, but on the police level, Captain Stacy.
Oh.
She is the drummer for a band called the Mary Janes. Guess who the front singer is? Their big hit is called Face a Tiger, You Hit the Jackpot. And the art on this, who is the art on this? Where is my title page? Give me a title page. I hate how comic books hide the title
Too
page.
much to ask for nowadays.
Sometimes it's in the front, sometimes it's in the back. Either way, I can never find a damn thing. Robbie Rodriguez, brilliant. Jason Latour, writing it, it's très bien. Robbie Rodriguez is muy bien. So a little bit of French, a little bit of Spanish for my BNs. And then, of course, there's the Spider-Man from Great Britain that some people hate his costume. I kind of think it's cool. That probably explains why some people hate it. All new X-Men. The time-lost X-Men are now dimension-lost X-Men because they're in the wrong time period and they're now in the Ultimate Earth.
Oh, lovely.
This is leading to some confrontations. They're all dropped off in different places. Angel is in the Savage Land, being hunted by Wolverine Jr., Ultimate Wolverine Jr., who is being himself stalked by X-23. Whereas the Beast lands in, he's like, oh, Mediterranean coast, Turkey, fascinating. But then later people are like, here, superheroes don't come here, die. And he's like, die? He's like, no, Doom. And then
crap.
Turns out he's in Latveria, and he's surrounded by Doombots. There's a great moment where Jean Grey reads Miles Morales' mind, and she's like, I'm reading it. He goes, all of my thoughts? Because I am a teenage boy, and I can't always... And she's like, shh, and reads his mind. And then... X-23 is kind of doing her thing, and according to future covers, she's going to end up fighting Son of Wolverine. But yeah, artwork as always gorgeous, story beautiful. What's not to love? Savage Dragon, the now electric powerless son
Malcolm?
of Savage Dragon. Yeah, Malcolm is he's mourning the loss of his electric powers, but he's doing pretty good without them, unless you count the fact that apparently the Earth is filled with all sorts of different races, subterranean races that are now fighting for space. So there's trolls versus demonoids versus ant people, and I think some other race, and then this giant thing that
What, no moment?
it's moment have been done to death, baby, possibly actually literally. And Maxine goes on a date that doesn't go well, and she decides she's going to move in with Malcolm, only to discover that Malcolm has to hang up on her because he's underground fighting for his life against all these armies. Daredevil was so good. Oh my sweet Christmas. Daredevil number 8. I love the Purple Man, or apparently loved the Purple Man. What I'd like to see in this, but doubt will happen, is the Purple Girl from Omega Flight and eventually Alpha Flight for a while. Remember? Anyone remember this?
No.
Oh, 90s good stuff. Like Jackson Geis, Alpha Flight stuff. Purple Girl, the daughter of the Purple Man, was a team member of Omega Flight when they had Manny Kin, who was the guy who could pull his descendants and ancestors from different types. So there was like a protozoa that was directly linked to his family. There was a caveman. There was him. And then there was the one he called Highbrow, who was long, skinny, and from the future, and had all this tech and stuff. There was the Purple Girl. There was I don't know her name. There was that one chick. She had like swords and kind of like almost like a black and red, Spider-Man with a collar kind of thing going on. There were a couple people, and it was good. Well, this doesn't feature her. It features Matt Murdock getting on in his new life, meeting his girlfriend's father, and getting a proposal of, "Hey, I heard your business isn't doing that good. I'm willing to give you a shit ton of money. All you got to do is write the biography of," he's like, "I got a publishing company. You write me the official autobiography of Daredevil." And he's like, but he may have to. Meanwhile, the Purple Man is frustrated by his own powers because he's like, and he explains to his children, he's been sleeping with women because he can make them do anything. So basically, he's been using his powers to date rape women across the country so that he could have his own children, because he's hoping that if he gets enough of his children together, they'll be able to resist his power to control people, and then they can love him unconditionally, and it'll be actual love, because he can get anybody to love him, but it's not real love, that he just makes them do it. But he's kind of losing it. He's yelling at the kids. He's like, "You do love me, yes? That's a question, not a command, isn't it? Listen to me. This is what you're here for. This is why I gave you life. Love me. It isn't an order." So he's kind of a bit whatever, but they resist him.
A little lost.
They resist him and possibly overthrow him in front of a train, or a trolley, really. And now there is a group of purple children of the damned going around California. Thor and Loki, the 10th Realm, semi-resolves the Angela issue. Yes, Angela's officially their sister. Yes, now everyone knows it, and she's been kicked out of heaven. No A, just Heaven. Because you're not an angel. There's an explanation for how that happened. And then it sets up for, her time with the Guardians and her time as that she's getting in her own series called Angela, Asgard's Assassin. I'm not sure how that happens, but
That's kind of what she does.
the Delinquents, so good. They're oddly mixed doubles here. You would expect that the two serious members, Archer and Quantum, would team up, while Woody and Armstrong would fall into debauchery. But no, Woody is blown away by the innocence and naivete of Archer, and he's like, at one point he's like, there's a line in there where Archer refers to the battle between Armstrong and Quantum as, well, these two are just having their big, their big jerk off together, and Woody's like, what did you just say? And he goes, like a competition to see who's the bigger jerk. And Woody's like, you are adorable. He's like, and he's determined to get him drunk and show him. He's like, you really were sheltered, weren't you? I'm gonna have a lot of fun breaking you in. And that's the last line of this issue. So good, so damn good. Sirens, beautiful to look at. I didn't make it through the story. It's wordy on a George Perez writing Superman in the beginning in New 52. Look at those words. It's a lot
of words for a comic.
It's a slow pace, and ultimately, it lost me. It's probably my last issue of this. It was a George Perez book. George Perez creator owned book. I had to check it out, but alas, poor Sirens. I read them, Horatio, and it took a while.
Well, you tried.
Sixth Gun, Days of the Dead. So good. So good. So good. Read Sixth Gun. Read all the Six Guns. Read them, I say. Read it. Oh, it's so good. Also, it's so good.
Here, use the sword. You'll be more intimidating.
Continue. Kalfu's in there. We've seen him in the regular series. So good. Take that, Christian Bale. You're not even in the Gotham TV show. That's why it's gonna be. Wait for it. So good. So you got Kalfu showing up. That was cool to see him back. And better than that, confirming the cameo in the other one. Our story does include some of the humbler pre-first series beginnings of a certain dashing Mr. Sinclair. So that is also a plus. Its origins, but if you haven't read the series, you don't need it to read and follow this. If you had read the series, it's great backstory. Either way, it is great. So good.
Bloodshot.
Armor Hunters Bloodshot #3 ends the series. I love Bloodshot, so it was worth reading, but I haven't been reading the full on Armor Hunters, so a lot of stuff was lost on me. Savage Hulk. My last issue was Savage Hulk because this ends the Davison Farmer story. This was so good. Hulk and the Neil Adams era X-Men versus the Leader. So just beautiful. And look at this. Tell me this isn't like poster worthy right here. Look at
Nice.
that. Look at that. Look at that. That's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, it is. They finally get his brain back
that on
together.
the wall. Death of Wolverine
Number
#2. Interesting. I'm only reading it because it's Charles Soule, and that means it's going to be a good story. And so far, it has. Albeit, it's somewhat predictable. I'm guessing Wolverine's going to die.
Who'd have thunk?
Already a better detective than the Christian Bale Batman. My girlfriend's coming back to me. No. She loves me, Alfred. No, Master Wayne. She didn't. You're fired because you're crazy. Whatever, Master Wayne. I'm gonna go to Paris and wait for you. I'm gonna fake my death. No one will know. You'll have to note this. I faked my death. No, I didn't. I can hate you, Christian Bale Batman.
Getting off on a tangent.
That didn't help my throat either.
Nope.
Get a little Wolverine versus Sabretooth. Little everybody versus Viper. Little Wolverine and Lady Deathstrike versus Sabretooth until Lady Deathstrike understands, wait, you don't heal? And then it's Wolverine versus Lady Deathstrike versus Kitty Pryde. Great picture just for the expressions alone and for the creepy yet creepily erotic imagery of Kitty's hand bursting through Lady Deathstrike's cleavage. I know she's got a metal skeleton, but I'm not entirely certain why Kitty's phasing power would disrupt her. I mean, I guess sometimes she does it in a kind of hurting
her
way.
cybernetics, because she doesn't do tech.
I don't know. There's something. It's gorgeous though, because this is all Steve McNiven. So it's très bien. The $4.99 Avengers 35 in 8 months. Time runs out. It takes place in like the future a little. I think. I don't. 8 months later. It takes place 8 months later.
It takes place in some time frame.
Roberto da Costa bought AIM and is turning them into good guys. I don't.
Actual good guys, or just
Yeah.
faking it?
Hulk number 6. I don't like it. I don't. I mean, the art is gorgeous. The art. It's Mark Bagley, so duh. But I don't like Hulk's Doc Green personality. Don't like him referring to himself as Doc, but giving himself a green mohawk. I don't like depowering A-Bomb, and then A-Bomb, and then Rick Jones just going, okay, sure, I'll go along with you. It's going to lead to a battle with the Red Hulk. He's going to fight all the Hulks and be depowering them. I'm assuming he either won't get all of them or it won't be quite so permanent, because She-Hulk series is called She-Hulk, not Jen.
True.
Although she is a lawyer, and so is Charles Soule, the writer, so it could still work as a book. Wolverine and the X-Men number 9 was weak. It's really...
Damn.
I love Quentin Quire. They keep messing with the character of Quentin Quire.
Still?
Yep. Stop it.
I thought they only did that for like a
There's
issue
like
or
an
two.
entire school. Why you gotta keep fucking with the one damn kid? We get it. He's cool. Move on. Fuck with some of the other kids. Thor: God of Thunder ends with the... It's kind of a... It's the reverse of, when sitcoms do that episode where we've run out of ideas, so we're just gonna sit around and tell stories and flash back to previous stuff. This is that. Only the characters that are flashing back are King Thor's granddaughters in the future. So they're flashing back to stuff that for us hasn't happened yet, including the prelude to the all-new, all-female Thor. And which gives us a hint, since King Thor is there, that he's going to be, in case anyone was wondering, Thor will eventually get his hammer back.
Shocking.
No, till then he'll have an axe to grind. Literally, because he's going to get his axe and use that. But yeah, and then real book, no pictures. This is David Wellington's The Hydra Protocol, sequel to Chimera, and it's a Jim Chapel mission. Jim Chapel is the hero from Chimera. He's a now former Army Ranger, now secret agent. He lost an arm. They give him a
Prosthetic.
yeah, he's got this kick it, not like, crazy high-tech comic booky sci-fi, but just a really decent
Just
prosthetic.
solid arm.
And in this one, a Russian agent comes to America saying that she's being hunted by the new Russian agents, but what she wants to do is dismantle something called Perimeter. Apparently Perimeter is a large supercomputer designed during the Cold War that controls and has access to fire all of Russia's nuclear weapons.
Oh, of course.
What it does is it monitors signals from key places throughout, and if it ever doesn't get a signal, it assumes Russia's been destroyed. The only thing that could destroy Russia would be bombs from America, so it's set to deploy. And they're like, it's old. It's like the secret bunker in Captain America 2, big tape, big tape machine computers running. So like, if this just breaks down or misses a signal for some reason, shit's gonna get real irradiated, real fast. So he embarks on this mission, and it turns out, as is the way of super spies, nobody he's come across is ever giving him 100% of anything. So everybody you think is a good guy, they go from on your side to, oh, they're the enemy, to they're on your side, to they're kind of neutral. to their enemies by necessity, to their good guys by necessity, to their what the hell happened here. So it's really, really good. Lots of shifts and this and that, and I'm it's the second book for this character, for Jim Chappell. He's really starting to grow on me, like he wishes an arm would on him. So that's it.